Living in a $500,000 house has become strangely normalized. Scroll through listings, social media, or casual conversations, and it almost feels like this price point is now considered average. What used to sound expensive now sounds expected. But when you slow down and actually do the math behind a $500,000 home, a very different reality starts to appear. This video isn't about discouraging dreams or telling people they shouldn't aim higher. It's about exposing the gap between what looks affordable on paper and what actually feels livable in real life. Most people assume that if you earn a decent income, a $500,000 house should be manageable. The logic sounds straightforward. Get pre-approved, lock in a mortgage, build equity over time, and move on with your life. But that logic quietly ignores how much the financial landscape has changed. Approval doesn't mean comfort, and it definitely doesn't mean safety. Being allowed to borrow doesn't mean borrowing won't dominate your life. Let's start with the mortgage itself. A $500,000 home usually results in a monthly payment that includes interest, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. For many buyers, that number lands somewhere between $4,000 and $4,500 per month. On paper, lenders might say this is affordable if your household earns enough. But those calculations assume your income stays consistent for decades and that nothing significant ever goes wrong. What rarely gets discussed is how fragile that assumption actually is. Jobs don't feel permanent anymore. Entire industries shift. Layoffs happen even to people who are performing well. Companies restructure. Careers stall. A mortgage payment doesn't adjust when your income changes. Once you commit, the obligation stays exactly the same, regardless of what life throws at you. Then there's the reality beyond the mortgage payment. A house doesn't just cost money once a month. Maintenance is constant and unpredictable. Property taxes can increase. Insurance premiums rise. Appliances fail. Heating systems break. Roofs age. Plumbing issues show up without warning. What starts as a manageable payment quietly turns into a constant drain on flexibility. And for many homeowners, that drain doesn't arrive all at once. It builds slowly, month after month, until financial breathing room disappears. This is where the lie really takes hold. People see the house, not the pressure behind it. From the outside, ownership looks like success. Inside, it can feel like anxiety. Every unexpected expense triggers stress. Every career decision feels heavier. Changing jobs feels risky. Starting a business feels impossible. Even taking time off feels dangerous. The house becomes the center of every financial decision, not a foundation for freedom, but a constraint around it. Many buyers don't realize how quickly lifestyle flexibility disappears. When housing costs take up such a large portion of income, everything else becomes secondary. Saving slows down. Emergency funds stop growing. Retirement contributions get postponed. The house absorbs money that might have otherwise created security elsewhere. Over time, this creates a situation where you own a valuable asset but feel financially fragile at the same time. There's also the emotional pressure that comes with debt at this scale. Owing $500,000 isn't just a financial number. It's a mental weight. It affects how people sleep. It affects how they think about the future. Every purchase feels like a trade-off against the mortgage. Vacations feel irresponsible. Spending on enjoyment feels guilty. The house doesn't just own part of your income, it owns part of your attention and peace of mind. For couples and families, the pressure multiplies. One income loss can destabilize everything. Childcare costs rise quickly. One partner may need flexibility or time away from work, reducing income at the exact moment expenses increase. The household might have looked strong on paper when the loan was approved, but the margin for error was always thinner than expected. For single buyers, the math is even harsher. Carrying a $500,000 obligation alone means there is no backup if something goes wrong. No second income to absorb shocks. No shared responsibility if expenses rise. That level of pressure changes how ownership feels. Instead of stability, it can feel like a constant test of endurance. Another part of the lie comes from comparison. People assume others have it figured out. Friends buy homes. Social media makes it look effortless. What often goes unseen is the support behind those purchases. Family assistance, gifts, inheritances, dual high incomes, perfect timing. Comparing yourself to outcomes without seeing the full picture creates shame where none belongs. There's also the contradiction people face every day. They're told buying a home is the smartest financial move. At the same time, they're warned about market bubbles, rising interest rates, and economic uncertainty. Buy now before prices rise. But don't buy at the wrong time. That mixed messaging creates paralysis. Waiting feels risky. Buying feels risky. Either choice feels like a potential mistake. What's changed isn't just the housing market. It's how ownership feels emotionally. Owning a home used to represent stability and progress. For many people today, it represents responsibility without relief. Even when everything looks fine on the surface, there's a quiet stress underneath it all. A constant awareness that one unexpected event could throw everything off balance. This is why so many people hesitate even when they technically qualify. That hesitation isn't a lack of ambition. It's an instinct for self-preservation. Signing a 30-year commitment in a world that feels increasingly uncertain doesn't feel empowering to many people. It feels like locking yourself into a system that leaves little room for mistakes. And this is why the conversation matters. Not because owning a home is bad, but because pretending the math works for most people is dishonest. A $500,000 house isn't impossible, but it's far from normal. It requires more than income. It requires stability, timing, support, and a tolerance for risk that many people simply don't have anymore. The real issue isn't whether people can technically afford these homes. It's whether the cost, financially and emotionally, is worth what they give up in return. Flexibility, security, peace of mind, the freedom to adapt when life changes. This isn't a failure of discipline or effort. It's a reflection of a system that shifted faster than expectations did. Recognizing that isn't pessimism, it's clarity. If you could afford a $500,000 house on paper, would you actually feel comfortable buying one, or does the risk feel too high now?